Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, the severe storms on the move threatening the 4th of July travel crush, stunning development in the Idaho student's murders case overnight, and big news for the WNBA. Millions on alert. A flash flood emergency in the Northeast. I-95 in the path. Water rescues underway this morning. This as a record number of Americans take to the roads and the skies. We have the track and timing this morning.
Stunning turn. Overnight, the suspect in the Idaho college murder case agreeing to plead guilty to all counts. This morning, what it means for his sentence. Will we learn what happened that night as the families of the victims react?
I can't pretend like I feel like this is justice.
Dan Abrams joins us live.
Breaking news, senators on Capitol Hill right now scrambling to pass the president's massive spending and tax bill. What it means for families at home, your taxes, health care. Will they make the president's July 4th deadline? And Elon Musk's new threat.
Deadly firefighter ambush. Why authorities now say those firefighting crews never had a chance, as we learn more about the victims.
Verdict watch on the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Why the jury sent the judge a note about one of their fellow jurors. How it could affect the case.
Dramatic cruise ship rescue. This morning, we hear from eyewitnesses how a father jumped in the water to save his little girl who went overboard.
Thank you, Jesus.
And the 4th of July sales that are hot to go. The biggest bargains dropping right now and what to wait for. Plus, all eyes on the Americans about to bring the heat to Wimbledon as fireworks fly over the slam dunk news from the WNBA. The new city's getting teams, bringing new flames to the game.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
You're excited about that WNBA news.
Yeah, the league is expanding, and why not?
Good morning, America. Hope you all are doing well today.
It is a busy morning, though, we should say. Lots of reaction overnight to that plea deal in Idaho. Brian Kohlberger agreed to plead guilty to all the charges. Kana Whitworth is standing by with the details, and Dan Abrams joins us to break down what this means for the case.
There's an all-nighter on Capitol Hill. That's a live look at the Senate floor, where they've been going through the night trying to pass the president's, Republicans trying to pass the president's signature bill. We're going to tell you where things stand right now.
But first, severe storms on the move around the country. They're threatening to make that 4th of July travel crush even more difficult.
So we're going to talk with Gio in a moment about how it will affect your travel plans. But first, let's go to Ginger with the track and all-important timing.
Well, I am on one of those flights that was canceled already today, so that is only going to get worse because this is really the storms in the last 12 hours are the appetizer to what will be the main dish of severe storms that we see later this afternoon that I think will impact a lot of people. It caused high water rescues and multiple crews were called in for Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. This is southeastern Pennsylvania where 4 to 5 inches of rain fell really fast. They're still dealing with that this morning. And now along I-95, we've got a flood watch all the way up to New Jersey, back through Philly, into Baltimore and Washington, D.C., and parts of Virginia. So you could see up to 5 inches of rain with that. But again, it's this afternoon, I'd say after 3 p.m. You've got to have 2 ways of getting warnings because these storms are going to come with a punch. Level 2 out of 5 includes New York City. We're talking about severe storms that have the gusts above 70 miles per hour, and that will absolutely impact travel. Things clear out after that. I'll show you a much nicer 4th of July in a moment.
Were you able to reschedule your flight?
So far, we'll see.
Okay. Well, good luck to you and good luck to all who are traveling all this week. And speaking of travel, the weather affecting flights, and our transportation correspondent, Gio Benitez, is at Newark Airport. He has the latest on what we can expect in the coming days as well. Gio, good morning to you.
Hey, well, good morning. Yeah, we're inside the United Operations Center here at Newark, and it is very, very busy here. They're managing nearly 400 planes taking off from this airport today, and we're talking about more than 500,000 United passengers this week alone. But as Ginger just said, that weather was really, really rough yesterday. So it was a rough start for travel. Thunderstorms caused ground stops until late last night in the New York area, and that just had ripple effects all across the country. Hundreds of flights delayed and canceled. Things are better this morning, but we still have some issues. That forecast, of course, looking rough, so pay close attention to that. Now, let's take a look at these numbers because AAA projects that an all-time record of 72.2 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home for the 4th of July. That's almost 2 million more than last year, 7 million more than 2019. Thursday and Sunday will be the busiest days to fly, but on the road, tomorrow and Sunday will be the busiest. Roads in New York, they're going to be a little busy this afternoon here. So make sure to watch that. Your best bet really to avoid traffic is getting on the road early in the morning or late at night. 61 million people will be driving, George.
Busy weekend. Okay, Gio, thanks. We're to turn now to the battle over President Trump's massive domestic policy bill. Senate scrambling to meet the president's 4th of July deadline to pass the measure amid concerns it's going to add trillions to the national debt / health care for millions. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott at the White House. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And Vice President J.D. Vance just arrived on Capitol Hill, where there has been a marathon voting session playing out overnight. Republican leadership now trying to buy more time to get the support they need to get this bill across the finish line. But some of those GOP holdouts are holding firm.
Overnight, President Trump's massive tax and spending bill hitting a major roadblock as a marathon voting session on the Senate floor drags into its 24th hour.
Let's vote. This is good for America. This is good for the American people.
Republican leadership trying to secure enough support to pass the bill. They can only afford to lose 3 votes. And already 2, Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina and Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky have signaled they are not on board. Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins also on the fence, with concerns cuts to Medicaid will impact rural hospitals.
When these facilities close their doors, the people they serve are often left behind without access to health care.
Leaving the White House this morning, President Trump telling me the holdouts who don't get on board will suffer the consequences.
Mr. President, what's your message to the Republicans that are not yet on board?
I think it would be very wise for them to get on board.
And that he's open to moving his July 4th deadline.
You're open on that.
I'd love to do July 4th, but I think it's very hard to do July 4th. It was 2 months ago. I would think maybe July 4th, but somewhere around there.
The bill includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts and new funding for immigration enforcement and fulfills some campaign pledges like no taxes on tips and overtime. It also guts Biden-era clean energy initiatives and slashes Medicaid despite pledges by the president to not touch the program.
Here's what I want on Medicaid. We're not touching anything.
The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office predicting the bill will result in some 11.8 million Americans losing their health coverage over the next decade.
How can any senator go home and tell their constituents, I'm sorry, I took away your health care because I wanted to give tax breaks to billionaires?
Other Republicans alarmed by the bill's price tag, one estimate saying it would add at least $3.3 trillion to the debt over the next 10 years. The bill would also still have to pass the House, where its fate is even more unclear.
And adding his voice into this debate, the president's former senior advisor, Republican mega donor, billionaire Elon Musk, saying that anyone who votes for this bill should hang their head in shame. He goes on to say that they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing that he does on this earth, George.
What a turnabout in just a few months for Elon Musk. Okay, Rachel, thanks very much. Robin?
And George, now to Idaho, where Brian Kohberger has agreed to plead guilty to all charges for the killings of 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Kana Whitworth is in Idaho with the latest for us. Good morning to you, Kana.
Yeah, Robin, good morning to you. Sources are telling us that it was actually the defense that approached the prosecution last week about a plea deal offer. Now, this is nearly 2.5 years after the murders, and despite Brian Kohberger's initial eagerness to be exonerated, he's now expected to plead guilty to all charges tomorrow.
This morning, a stunning development in the Idaho College murders case. Suspect Brian Kohberger agreeing to a plea deal, now planning to admit guilt in the murders of Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan at an off-campus home in November of 2022. In exchange, the death penalty will be taken off the table. In a letter sent to families of the victims, prosecutors say the suspect will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences and will waive his right to appeal. Prosecutors calling this a sincere attempt to seek justice for the families. But this morning, the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez blasting the move.
We were not prepared for this. We had no idea that this was going to happen. It's the opposite of what we wanted. I won't speak on all the family's parts, but I can 100%, because I was in the same room with them fighting against this decision with multiple families. This is not the majority.
The plea deal follows a 2.5-year legal battle, coming just weeks before the murder trial was set to begin. Prosecutors allege the suspect entered the King Road home early in the morning of November 13th, 2022, and brutally stabbed the 4 friends to death. 2 roommates inside the home survived, one of them telling authorities she saw a masked man with bushy eyebrows walk past her. That detail captured in this 911 call.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
The suspect allegedly leaving a knife sheath with his DNA on it behind. Authorities using that DNA to track down Kohberger nearly 7 weeks after the murders.
We believe we have our guy, the one that committed these murders.
The suspect's lawyers insisting he was innocent, but now he's set to appear in court tomorrow to enter his guilty plea. The state also seeking restitution for the victims and their families, saying this agreement ensures that the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will not be able to put the families through the uncertainty of decades of post-conviction appeals. The Gonzalez family, though, calling the deal secretive, saying there was no justice.
At the least, justice starts with an interview of the families to ask them what justice is, and we didn't get that.
Now, this plea deal would bring about a conviction, but it's pretty bare bones, and the families are left with a lot of unanswered questions, like what exactly happened to their children, why, and where is the murder weapon? Now, if Brian Kohberger does in fact plead guilty tomorrow, they anticipate sentencing later this month. George.
Okay, Canna, thanks very much. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Dan, the evidence seemed pretty overwhelming, defense conceding that.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is surprising. But they had gotten a lot of bad legal rulings coming into this, right? The defense had tried to get the death penalty taken off the table again and again. They kept losing. Most recently, they tried to point the finger at other possible suspects. The judge saying, but there's no evidence to support that. They had a pretty bad case in the end here for the defense. You had video evidence, you had cell phone records, you had DNA. You put it all together, and it was tough to figure out exactly where the defense was going to go with this.
At least one of the families is upset. So why would the prosecutors agree to this?
Well, look, first of all, it avoids the uncertainties of a trial. And it isn't up to the families in the end. Now, it is unusual in a case like this to have families so outspoken against this kind of decision. But the prosecutors would say, look, we got almost everything here. We got guilty pleas on every charge. He's going to serve life in prison. The only thing that we took off the table here was the death penalty. And, you know, it'll be interesting to hear what the rest of the families think. But, of course, it's always heartbreaking to hear a family frustrated at the conclusion of a legal proceeding like this. And I've got to believe that that's tough for the prosecutors, too.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
All right, George, more news out of Idaho now. We're learning new details about that ambush that left 2 firefighters dead in Coeur d'Alene. Police have identified the suspect, who they say intentionally set a brush fire to lure the first responders to the scene. And that's where Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Will. I want to give you a sense of the chaos and the terror up on that mountain during that ambush. At one point, the SWAT team decides they've got to go in and try to retrieve the bodies of those slain firefighters. And they go up that hill. They're taking fire from the suspect. And then they get concerned that he's going to try to wheel around and grab either his vehicle or the firefighting vehicles to get away. So they decide they've got to cripple those vehicles. They slash the tires of the firefighting vehicles, shoot into the engine blocks, and push his vehicle off a cliff. This morning, authorities working to zero in on a motive for the ambush they say this man, 20-year-old Wes Rowley, set for firefighters.
We've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs.
They had responded to a routine brush fire, which authorities say the suspect set to lure them into a death trap. The 2 battalion chiefs gunned down a 3rd firefighter, critically wounded. And this morning, we learned that the firefighters actually interacted with the suspect before the shooting.
Yeah, the firefighters arrived on the scene, and his vehicle was pretty close to where the firefighters parked, and they asked him to move it, and there was some back and forth, and then all of a sudden the shots were fired.
So they never had a chance.
Never had a chance.
42-year-old Battalion Chief Frank Harwood, the father of 2, served 17 years with the Kootenai Fire and Rescue Department, and Battalion Chief John Morrison spent over 28 years with the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department. He was 52. Both could have retired, but stayed on the job.
One of the most absolute darkest days that either one of these organizations has ever faced.
And as they search for a motive, the sheriff telling me that the suspect had hoped to be a firefighter himself one day. Now, sheriff telling me they hope to have this fire out within 24 hours and begin processing the scene. But that could take days because of the brush fire that went through here and the vehicle that got pushed off the cliff. George.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. We have some breaking news now out of Philadelphia. The city's largest workers' union officially on strike. Rhiannon Alley has the details, what it means for the city. Good morning, Rhiannon.
Good morning to you, George. This could be a smelly situation for the city of Philadelphia because until a deal is made, this strike will impact several services around the city, including trash pickup. The city offered a deal late last night, but the largest union representing the 9,000 city workers did not accept it. So the workers want an 8% increase for each year of the 4-year deal. The city offered 7% over 3 years, which averages out to just over 2% per year. So these two sides are pretty far apart in what they want. Services provided by the union include everything from 911 dispatch to street repairs and that trash pickup I mentioned, and more than that. In the meantime, the city has temporarily added drop-off locations around the city where the residents can bring their trash. And the mayor said they will continue working on a compromise, but the good news is the July 4th festivities will continue on as planned, guys.
All right, Rhiannon, our thanks to you. Now we have some exciting news from the WNBA. 3 more teams are coming to the growing lead, and we're passing the ball. Should it be a chest pass or bounce pass to Sam?
Whatever he prefers.
Please don't bounce pass. That's all I can say. Robin, turn to me for WNBA information as you always do. Here we go. Don't run out to buy tickets just yet because these new teams won't be playing for a few more years. But it just goes to show you the popularity of women's sports in general and the WNBA specifically. League Commissioner Kathy Engelberg announcing that 3 new teams will join the league. Cleveland in 2028, Detroit in 2029, and Philadelphia in 2030. They will join the Golden State Valkyries, which began playing this season, and Toronto and Portland, which will both start next year. Now, this is going to bring the league to 18 teams. Engelbert saying this is historic, and it's an expansion that's a powerful reflection of our league's extraordinary momentum, the depth of talent across the game, and the surging demand for investment in women's professional basketball. The WNBA is riding an unprecedented wave of popularity. You see it right here on this show every morning. Behind such new stars as Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and last year it signed a TV rights deal, guys, worth more than $2 billion. And now the expansion is giving more fans around the country their own home team to root for. Also in the process of negotiations, a new collective bargaining agreement with the players' union. So a lot going on. Okay, Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Which of those 3 was one of the original 8? Detroit. No. Philly. Nope. You're only got one left. I heard someone yell at me.
I think Sam's graduate degree in sports is going very, very well.
You know what? It's a 2-year program, and I'm just kind of beginning.
But y'all are very cute.
Coming up, Aaron Katursky outside the courthouse where deliberations set to resume in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. But there was a setback from the jury, Aaron?
It seemed like it, George. It was a pretty rough start. We'll have the latest on deliberations coming up.
And also ahead, we're going to hear from eyewitnesses who saw that incredible rescue at sea.
Plus, the 4th of July sales already heating up from the biggest retailers. Well, since Sam's here, we'll have him bring us the Wimbledon action that's taking place right now.
That's tennis.
You are a gifted surgeon with an extraordinary mind. Don't let what he wants eclipse what you need. He's very dreamy, but he is not the sun. You are.
I got chills again like I heard it for the first time. That is a classic scene from Grey's Anatomy. Dance It Out, Dance It Out, a show that has brought us so many quotable moments over the years. I had a chance to speak with Shonda Rhimes and Betsy Beers, the 2 masterminds behind Grey's and so many other groundbreaking shows as they celebrate 20 years of telling bold, inclusive stories with Shondaland.
They all hold up.
Oh, they do.
They sure do. First new at 7:30, the NTSB is out with a preliminary report about the Mexican Navy ship that slammed into the Brooklyn Bridge in May. 2 crew members were killed, 19 others injured. The report does not offer a cause, but it does say instructions from local experts were being translated into Spanish as the ship was being moved. Also new right now, everybody watching the stock market after a big day yesterday. Dow Jones jumped 275 points. NASDAQ hit an all-time high, a record day for the S&P 500 too.
And what is history in the making on Jeopardy? A contestant on tonight's episode is real estate agent Jason Singer, and he is married to Susan McMillan. And here's where the history part comes in. Susan was a Jeopardy champion in 2021. She won $35,000. If Jason wins tonight, they will become the first already married couple to become Jeopardy champs. He says practicing against Susan is the best practice he could have.
Stats with Jeopardy.
Yeah, right, I got it all for you. But that suggests that people who have been on Jeopardy then met and married, if they're the first already married couple. So we got it covered.
Okay.
I don't know.
I know.
I just really gummed up the works here. Let's keep it moving.
You never do well. We're going to move on now. We got new details from inside the jury room in the Sean Diddy Combs case. Jurors telling the judge they hit a snag just 1 hour into deliberations. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky is there at the courthouse for us with more. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, Robin. The jury is going to return here a short time from now to resume deliberations after what seemed like a rough start. This morning, the first full day of deliberations in the trial of Sean Combs, who prayed with his twin daughters, sons, and mother in the courtroom, while the jury of 8 men and 4 women ages 30 to 74 went to decide whether he's guilty of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Jurors must fill out this form and deliver it to the judge once there's a verdict. Almost immediately, though, deliberations were interrupted. After about an hour, jurors sent a note that said they're concerned one of them cannot follow Your Honor's instructions. That juror is a 51-year-old Manhattan scientist with a doctorate in molecular biology. The note did not say what led the other jurors to have concerns, and the judge sent back his own note that reminded jurors they have a duty to deliberate and an obligation to follow my instructions on the law. Later, the jury sent another note asking the judge about the drug allegations that support the racketeering conspiracy charge. When Combs read the note, he looked stricken. The verdict form says jurors should consider the drug offenses if and only if they decide Combs is guilty of racketeering conspiracy. The jury saw multiple photos of drugs seized from Combs. Several assistants testified they bought drugs for him. The defense said the drugs were only for Combs's personal use. There's no way to know where deliberations stand. There have been about 5.5 hours so far, and each day, Robin, the judge said he would let the jury decide how late to stay. Robin.
All right, Aaron, our thanks to you. We're going to bring in ABC News live contributor Shauna Lloyd. So what do you make of this issue with the juror?
So the issue with the juror, we have to remember, is this. The question was very specific, that he's not following the judge's instructions. The judge only asked them to do a certain amount of things. Presumption of innocence. You can't hold the fact that he didn't testify against him. You can't bring outside sources, and you can't make decisions based on race, religion. So there is something about one of those few things that the judge is asking that this juror was not complying with. So we know that the judge did send him back, and it seems as though he's now deliberating with the other jurors.
Does it raise, though, a question about possible appeals?
Absolutely, because let's remember, the judge has a very heavy balancing act. The judge has to make sure that he attempts to not influence the deliberation, but ensure that the juror is following instructions. Then, if he finds that he's not, he's going to have to remove him and put in an alternate juror.
So at this point, what happens and what does it mean for the jury if the judge decides to dismiss a juror?
If the judge decides to dismiss the juror, it means that the alternate will be brought back in. We have to remember they did see the entire trial, so they are up to speed. But what it means is deliberations almost reset because this juror has to be brought into all the discussions that the group has been having for this last day and a half or half a day.
So it could delay things.
It could delay things.
And it's already been such a long trial.
Exactly.
All right, Shauna Lloyd, the twists and turns never end. Thank you so much for being here.
A pleasure.
We are going to turn now to the dramatic rescue at sea of the girl who went overboard on a cruise. Her father jumping in to save her, and Eva Pilgrim is here with eyewitness accounts this morning. Eva, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. This was a 4-day cruise in the Bahamas, a family vacation on the way back to dock in Florida. That little girl falling off the boat and into the water. The cruise ship immediately turning around to get her and her father, who jumped in to save her. This is the moment a rescue team saved a father and daughter after going overboard a cruise ship. The two were on the 4th floor of the Disney Dream when the little girl fell.
I just saw a bunch of the staff running outside on the 4th floor deck, and I figured something had happened.
The father immediately jumping in. Witness Tracy Hughes watching the entire moment unfold.
This father, his child fell in the water, and he instinctively, without hesitation, jumped in and went after his child. And I believe had he not done that, his child may not have survived.
The crew on the ship rushing to help.
It was crazy. We couldn't see the people. The ship was moving quickly, so quickly. It's crazy how quickly the people became little tiny dots in the sea, and then you lost sight of them.
People on board filming the whole thing. You can see the dad treading water, holding his daughter for several minutes before help arrived.
We were trying to see if we could see anyone. And then we saw and we could tell, and everyone's hollering out, there they are. We can see them, we can see them.
The yellow rescue boat finding them, pulling them to safety.
Thank you, Jesus.
The entire boat watching, cheering that the two were out of the water as they were brought back to the ship. The dad in the red shirt, the daughter held by a crew member.
They were so fast. They got out there and they saved them, the father and the daughter.
I don't think I breathed until they returned to the ship.
Disney Cruise Line releasing a statement saying, "We commend our crew members for their exceptional skills and prompt actions, which ensured the safe return of both guests to the ship within minutes." And witnesses told us that the two were in the water some 20 minutes, the dad holding his daughter and treading water the entire time. If you can just imagine what that is. But they're both safe and sound, and everyone's really happy that they're okay.
Absolutely.
I know.
Thank you, Eva. Look ahead to July 4 sales. Chief Business Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis here with how retailers are drumming up business. Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, George. Yeah, we got fireworks, barbecues, and of course shopping because it is the 4th of July and it is a big time for sales right now. This year they're longer and more competitive than ever. Amazon Prime Day is kicking off a week earlier than last year. They're starting on July 8th. So it's basically your 4th of July sales chaser. And it lasts 4 days instead of 2. The retail giant is expanding the sale to compete with other major retailers who've been running deals for multiple days the last few years. Other changes this year include early deals starting now. Prime members can shop Amazon brands and save up to 30% off. Amazon's also offering Prime members $1 off per gallon at over 7,500 BP, Amoco, and participating AMP gas stations through July 3rd through 6th. So that's a really good thing to take advantage of.
Okay,
right now.
what about other retailers?
So everybody's got something, right, Robin? Every retailer has some kind of deal for you right now. Target starts its Circle Week on Sunday, July 6th. Walmart kicks off Walmart deals on July 8th. And Best Buy starts its Black Friday in July on the 7th. Some of those sales start and run as late as the 13th. So they're running longer as well.
But we shouldn't just go flinging our cash around. We need some strategy here. So what should we be looking to buy now
you should really never
waiting?
do that, Will.
Oh.
If you're talking to me, I'm going to say just don't do that, right?
Oh, okay.
But traditionally, this is the time of year you want to buy a mattress, appliances, outdoor furniture, and clothes, including back to school. What you're holding off on right now are streaming devices like that Roku and Fire TV. Experts say to wait until Prime Day. You're going to also likely see better deals on beauty and personal care items around Prime Day. And for those TVs, you can wait until Black Friday. Black Friday every year is the year that you stock up on your TVs. And then you can use websites like Camel. Honey is a great browser extension. So Camel will look at the price history of where something has been priced before. So you know if today, if you're buying it today, is it a good deal? And then Honey is a browser extension. You download it and it automatically applies all the discounts to your purchase.
I'm going to ask a question you may not know the answer to. Why is it called Camel? Because we're talking about it.
They're moving very slowly and taking up every drop of sales data. They don't need a lot of it.
Oh, wow.
I made that up.
I know, but it was good.
It was good.
Wow.
It was good.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thanks, guys.
All right, now with our play of the day and day 2 of action at Wimbledon officially underway.
Yeah, already an upset, guys. Already. Good morning, Robin. That's right. More top Americans are already taking to the court at the All England Club. And sorry to report that we've already got our first big upset of the day. Number 3 seed Jessica Pegula losing. Yes, just now. first round to Italy's Elisabetta Cocciaretto.
Oh, bravi,
thank you.
bravissima.
Thank you very much. It's the names that'll get you in tennis, by the way. But American Tommy Paul is also in action against Brit Johannes Monday. That's not just a day of the week, it's also a name. And as the U.S. looks to turn around the day around, so far the Americans have been bringing the drama. Top-seeded American Taylor Fritz fighting back from 2 sets down to even up his first round match against Frenchman Giovanni Perica.
Oh,
nice. Monday night, thank you. Monday night, the match was suspended ahead of the tournament's 11 p.m. curfew, so he'll be back to the court today and try to complete the comeback in the decisive 5th set. Now, later today, French Open champion Coco Gauff begins her quest for a second straight major title. But the real star of the show, or the real problem of the show, really, has been the record heat. The players and fans have tried to keep cool during the hottest opening day in tournament history. Temperatures are running about a month ahead in Europe. Check this out. The defending 2-time champion Carlos Alcaraz even stopping play to make sure that a fan gets the water they need because they passed out before toughing it out in his first round match in the heat. Now, you can catch the first round action all day on ESPN. It's expected to be another scorcher out there. There are heat emergencies in at least 6 European nations, so there's a lot of problems.
And that European heat, woo!
It's not playing.
Yeah.
No, but the tennis is playing.
And
you're not playing about the tennis.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan now for 22 minutes.
It's great.
Good job.
It's really good stuff.
Coming up, we got the stars of 9 Perfect Strangers. They're going to tell us about the season.
I think it.
Oh, the season 2 finale.
Yeah.
But we did have more time.
Oh, here we are.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Millions on alert. A flash flood emergency in the Northeast right now. I-95 in the path. The water rescue's underway this morning as a record number of Americans take to the roads and the skies. We have the track and timing this morning.
Brian Kohlberger agrees to plead guilty to all counts in the brutal killing of the 4 Idaho college students in 2022. The reaction this morning and what's next? As Ethan Chapin's parents and siblings break their silence.
I miss him every single day. And I always will.
Sharing their memories of their son and brother first on GMA.
Dancing with the Stars is spilling secrets, revealing 2 new contestants from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Congratulations, Jen! Whitney Levitt.
Joining animal conservationist Robert Irwin and social media superstar Alex Earl in the ballroom. We've got a special message this morning.
And we're joining the Grays craze just in time for the 4th of July, celebrating the red, white, and blue with summer boards as we say good morning, America.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
And good morning to all of you at home. We are counting down to July 4th this morning. Tori Johnson kicking off 3 days of July 4th deals and steals, all from small businesses. Everything is made in America.
I love that.
I love the owners are here.
It's so good. Love that. Love to see them. And also this morning, a big change across the pond. The Royal Train has reached its final stop. We'll have all the details on the last journey of the Palace on Wheels and what will happen next.
Okay, but first, a look at the top stories breaking at 8, starting with the severe storms that are on the move right now that are threatening to make the 4th of July travel crush even more difficult. Let's get right back to Ginger with the track and timing. Jen?
Yeah, I called it an appetizer, we'll say, like what Sam said. Amuse-bouche was what the storms in the last 24 hours have been. So we've got a main entree of severe to talk about. But first, this is what happened in the early morning hours. You had water rescues happening in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So southeastern Pennsylvania had some 4 to 5 inches fall really fast. And that's where we find a flood watch yet this morning for these kind of training thunderstorms in the same area. Washington, D.C., Harrisonburg, Virginia, all the way up into New Jersey. Philadelphia is included, as is Baltimore. So if you're traveling along I-95 and some of those side roads especially, that's where you could end up with some flash flooding. Then this afternoon, we open it right up again, and we're going to have travel issues because these are severe storms. Talking about gusts above 70 miles per hour as the main hazard from kind of Rockland County, New York, way down through all of New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, and southeastern Pennsylvania. That's a level 2 out of 5, but the 1 out of 5 goes from Mississippi to Maine. Once we get this cold front out of here, things improve greatly from Charleston all the way up to New York. You're going to have a much nicer forecast. Gulf and plains have some storminess, guys.
Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to the controversial new immigration crackdown and a new detention facility for migrants in the Everglades. Victor Kendo is at the site where the president is set to visit today.
This morning, President Trump arriving in South Florida, touring the controversial new detention center his administration says will hold up to 5,000 undocumented migrants.
The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz.
The facility, once a remote airfield in the Florida Everglades, is now transformed, filled with white tents. Environmental groups and Native Americans calling for the protection of the land. Immigration advocates condemning the move. The Florida Immigrant Coalition telling The Guardian it's designed to enact suffering. But the administration and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis argue wildlife will help prevent detainees from escaping. The Florida Republican Party now selling Alligator Alcatraz merchandise online. The Department of Homeland Security posting this AI-generated image. And all of this comes as the administration ramps up its deportation efforts. New data analyzed by ABC's own television station's data team showing a recent shift in arrests. The administration now arresting more migrants with no criminal convictions. In response, DHS saying 70% of ICE arrests were criminal illegal aliens. Environmental groups have filed a suit trying to stop Alligator Alcatraz, but the state argues it is a temporary facility. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Governor DeSantis will be joining the president today. Will?
All right, Victor, we'll see what happens there. We're going to move overseas now to the end of an era in the UK. King Charles saying goodbye to the royal train. It's making its last stop, if you will. Chief international correspondent James Longman joins us from London with the latest. Hello to you, James.
Hi, Will. Yeah, end of an era, end of the line for the royal train. It's being decommissioned because it is just too expensive to keep running it. King Charles and Queen Camilla used it just twice last year, and it cost $100,000. It was said to be the late Queen Elizabeth's favourite mode of transport. She used to take baths on board, and it said that she used to ask the driver to slow down so that water wouldn't slosh over the sides. Now, it's a lot less luxurious than it was back in Queen Victoria's time, but it still has bedrooms, studies, dining car, only for use by the most senior members of the royal family and their courtiers. You might remember in 2018 when Meghan made one of her first joint appearances alongside Queen Elizabeth. Well, it was on that train and they both looked very happy about it. Kate and Will used it in 2020 during the pandemic to do a tour of the UK, and King Charles has used this for much of his life. He's known as the Green King, and he converted the whole system to rely just on vegetable oil. But it will now no longer be a working train, decommissioned in 2027, likely to be a museum. The royals will just have to make do with 2 helicopters to get them around the UK.
I think that'll work. Okay, James, thanks very much. Coming up on our GMA Morning Menu, more on the Idaho College murders case. The family of Ethan Chapin breaks their silence. That's first on GMA.
Also ahead, Dr. Bo is back to sound the alarm of the new TikTok trend, encouraging people to go out in the sun when the UV rays are most intense. Dr. Bo's going to tell you how you can keep your skin safe.
All right, and we have a special message from the secret lives of Mormon wives before they head to the ballroom on Dancing with the Stars. And Sam has a special guest. Hi there, Sam.
Oh, hi, Will. Joanna Salz is here.
Oh, yeah, the new food trend heating up social media. Wait until you see these summer boards I've got for you. That's coming right up right here.
They're
Sam,
really good.
Right here on GMA.
They're really good.
We are back with our GMA cover story. More on the Idaho College murders case after Brian Koberger agreed to plead guilty to all counts. Shortly before we learned of the plea deal, Kana Whitworth sat down with the family of one of the victims, Ethan Chapin. I want to go back to Kana in Boise. Good morning, Kana.
Yeah, George, good morning. So the last time that Jim and Stacy Chapin saw their son Ethan alive, it was Parents' Weekend at the University of Idaho. They told me they left full of pride. Their 3 children, their triplets, were living their best lives. But that feeling was short-lived. It wasn't long after they learned that Ethan had been murdered in a quadruple homicide that thrust the town of Moscow into chaos. And this morning, for the first time, the Chapin family tells the story of how they stayed afloat.
We just decided maybe it was best to tell our story of Ethan literally one time. He deserves it. He deserves our story of him.
This morning, as the Idaho murder suspect prepares to accept a plea deal,
The family of Ethan Chapin speaking publicly together for the first time since Ethan, his girlfriend Xana Kernodle, and her roommates Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez were brutally murdered in an off-campus home at the University of Idaho.
I miss him every day. When you lose your son at 20, you know, it's different. It's a different loss. And I miss him every single day. And I always will.
Ethan, a triplet with his siblings, Hunter and Maisie, all attending the University of Idaho together. Hunter and Maisie and their parents, Jim and Stacy, now telling their story in a new Prime Video docuseries, One Night in Idaho, The College Murders, remembering their 6'4", larger-than-life brother and son.
We played every sport together. Every time we went in the car, it was together, partied together. There was never a dull moment.
The night before Ethan was killed, Maisie brought him to her sorority formal. She now cherishes the text he sent her before bed.
So he started off by texting me, I think he said, "Dog, come hang out. We all want you here." And I said, "I'm going to bed." And then he said, "Love you." And I didn't even respond to that. I think I was asleep by then.
And the "I love you" kind of stood out, though.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Hunter, who pledged Sigma Chi with Ethan, says the next morning a friend at the fraternity woke him up saying the police were at Xana's house.
Hunter Johnson came up to me and said, I was like, "Where's Ethan and Xana?" And he's like, "They're not here anymore." It's like, "What do you mean they're not here anymore?" He's like, "I think they were murdered last night."
Hunter was forced to call his family with the news, his parents in disbelief.
It drives me crazy because I've always wanted to protect my family. And there's really nothing there that I could have done. You know, instantly he was taken.
A suspect, Brian Koberger, arrested nearly 7 weeks later. With a bit of relief, the Chapins shifting their focus to their son's legacy, getting tattoos to honor him.
We all benefited from having Ethan in our lives for 20 years. It's a tremendous loss.
Now, the Chapins told me that they brought Ethan's ashes and his red Jeep home to one of their favorite places in Priest Lake, Idaho, where they live like Ethan every day to honor his legacy. For more on their story, you can catch One Night in Idaho, the College Murders. It premieres on July 11th on Prime Video. George.
Okay, Kena, thanks very much.
Now to celebrating 20 years of Shondaland with Shonda Rhimes and Betsy Beers, the dynamic duo behind shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, Bridgerton, and you can see so many others. I sat down with them to talk about this milestone and what's next.
If I had any sense.
Shut up! Dance it out.
For more than 2 decades,
I have my hand on a ball. I'm freaking out.
Shondaland has delivered the drama, from forbidden romances
Do you love me?
I love you!
to iconic monologues.
Twice as good as them to get half of what they have.
And shocking plot twists. Now, as they celebrate 20 years of telling bold, inclusive stories, Shonda Rhimes and Betsy Beers are reflecting on the world they built together, one groundbreaking show at a time. Hey! Hello! Could you have imagined going back to 2005 and going, all of this that has happened?
No, absolutely not.
No, not at all. No. Their partnership as the longest-running women-led duo in TV history all began because of a shared frustration.
We loved television, and there was this whole gap because we didn't see anything that looked or acted like us.
There were no women who felt like real women on television at that point in
Or
time.
locations like hospitals that were filled with people that looked like a real
The
hospital.
world, yeah. And we were like, we're all the competitive, mean-spirited, fun, well-meaning women out there.
In 2005, they aimed to fill that gap with their first show, a medical drama about hospital interns, the now renowned series Grey's Anatomy.
Why y'all standing there? Move! What was our first one? And so I feel like we made a lot of mistakes.
We did.
But not in a bad, I don't feel like any of the mistakes were a problem. Whatever came from those mistakes turned out to be fantastic.
We'd never done it.
Yeah. It's that make your mess a message thing that you always say.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Thank you. But what started as a long shot.
You realize this constitutes hugging?
Shut up. I'm your person.
Soon rewrote the rules of primetime.
We the last show picked up and we were mid-season. What did we have to lose?
Yeah.
Because no one was paying any attention because that was the year of Desperate Housewives and Lost.
Yes.
So they already had two big mega hits. So we were just the kids in the back of the class chewing on our hair over in the other part of town.
It was that thing, though, if we're going to fail as ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're not going to make stuff up and to please you, and then it's not what we created in the first place.
Grey's Anatomy becoming the longest-running medical drama in American TV history. So many things that are iconic.
So pick me.
Choose me.
Love me.
I know. I'm always telling people, don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Yeah.
But it's just like, I can still see her saying that.
I know you had the exact cadence.
By the way, that was perfect. That was really good.
How does it feel to know that you have become a part of culture?
For me, that's a really personal feeling, to feel like I've made something up and people are embracing it in this way.
He's very dreamy, but he is not the sun. You are.
I'm amazed at how many people come up to me and tell me that they learned something that helped them save somebody in their family's life. I'm also amazed at how many young women could say they're going to go into the sciences or they're doctors. And it was because of Meredith Grey, which is amazing.
Shondaland's reign over primetime continued with smash hits like Scandal.
Do I always get it done?
And How to Get Away with Murder.
We won because I did my job.
And in 2014, another historic first.
I save lives.
I run DC. I kill in the courtroom.
The TGIT lineup featuring 3 hours of appointment television, all led by formidable women protagonists.
It's handled.
In 2017, the Shondaverse expanded into streaming, with Bridgerton becoming a global phenomenon.
If this is to work, you must appear madly in love.
It was sort of the amazing effect it has when your show launches at the same time all over the world. Bridgerton was the first time that had ever happened.
The duo says that when they're choosing the next story they want to tell, timing matters.
It's great to tell a scary story when the lights are all on, when it's daylight outside. But when it gets dark, you don't want to tell those scary stories as much. So to us, I feel like right now we're trying to mine a lot more joy.
Well, that's more complicated.
And a lot more enjoyment, because I feel like people want to escape a little bit from the realities of eggs being too high and all kinds of other things.
Shondaland isn't just home to iconic fictional characters, it's powered by real-life talent on and off screen. And with 20 years down, the story continues.
I just know it's going to be fun, and it will be something that will probably surprise people, and they'll say, why do you want to do that? And we'll say, because we love it.
Yeah.
And because she's going to write the hell out of it.
I love that. They are such...
Let's just keep watching.
You know what? You can't do that because it was an extended interview. And I'm telling you, it was like a masterclass, sitting there and listening to them.
Wow.
And so I'm so happy that the full interview with Shonda and Betsy airs tomorrow night, ABC News Live, and will be streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Plus.
Disney Plus.
Okay, there's so many of them.
There are so many, and you can watch them anywhere.
That's right. We run the universe. Shondaland, Disney.
Just
Come on.
stand there. It'll be on a billboard even. All right.
No.
How about a little pop news?
Please.
Ready for it?
Please.
Okay. Let's begin pop news this morning. Really, the only way we should.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
That's right. Miranda Priestley is back. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is officially in production. 20th Century Studios making the announcement with this Instagram post. There you go. Confirming that the stars of the 2006 original, Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci, are all returning. So they also revealed that the cast is expanding a bit for the sequel. So writer, actor, and director Kenneth Branagh is on board to play Miranda Priestley's on-screen husband. Don't do it. husbands don't last. She can't keep a husband. No confirmation yet on the storyline, but the first movie ended with Hathaway's character, Andy, leaving Runway to work at a newspaper, sure. So it'll be interesting to see what brings everyone back together. Production is currently underway. No word yet on when The Devil Wears Prada 2 will hit theaters. But guys, by all means, move at a glacial pace. You know that thrills you.
Yes.
How was it?
Slow clap again. That's your second one. That's your second one.
I mean, it was no choose me, pick me.
Love me.
It was not, but it was okay. And now you're either in or you're out. We're all in for this news. That was Heidi, by the way. Another fashionista, Project Runway, is returning to our screens for season 21, and we've got a first look at the brand new trailer. Check it out.
We're in a new home with new rules.
Like people tell me what to do.
That attitude is a problem.
I want to go home.
Love tears, they feed me.
We need real fire on the runway.
What do you think, Sophia, Zach, Nikki?
I loved this. As you know, in fashion, one day you're in, and the next day you're out.
I'm just so scared what's gonna happen in the runway.
Is it gonna be like this each week?
Yes, it does. Auf Wiedersehen. Heidi Klum is back hosting the show that never goes out of style with Nina Garcia. And Law Roach, you saw it, is joining as a judge alongside season 4 winner Christian Siriano, who will serve as a judge and a mentor to the contestants, the newly refreshed 10. Newly refreshed?
I like that.
I could use a newly refreshed. All right, 10 episodes, season 21 of Project Runway debuts Thursday, July 31st.
Can you get this right?
Yes, I'm going to do it. Freeform, Hulu, and Disney+.
There you go. There you nicely done.
All right, finally, let's get ready to rumba. See what we did there? Dancing with the Stars is assembling their all-star cast, and this morning we know 2 more celebs who are ready to dance their way into the ballroom for season 34. And we've got a special message from the 2 new additions, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives stars Whitney Levitt and Jen Affleck. Check it out.
Hey guys, it's Whitney and Jen from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We're so excited to be joining Dancing with the Stars this season. Catch Mom Talk on the dance floor. I'm coming for that mirror ball.
Everybody should give it a go. All right, Whitney and Jen will join previously announced stars Robert Irwin and Alex Earl on the dance floor this fall. Now that news was revealed in the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion, which dropped overnight. But that's the last spoiler. I am not, George, going to give you any more spoilers. The special is drama-filled. It's hosted by former Bachelor star Nick Viall, and it features never before seen footage of the series. You can stream the reunion right now on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Oh, that's how you say it.
Season 34 of Dancing with the Stars airs Tuesdays this fall on ABC and Disney+ this September. And we'll be revealing the full lineup of stars and their partners. That's happening September 3rd right here on GMA.
And not a single spoiler. No. Thank you, Sam. After the break, Tori Johnson has deals and steals from small businesses. They are all made in America.
Welcome back to GMA, live from New York City.
We are back now on GMA, and it's time for Deals and Steals. And we've got to gear up because, you know, it is July 4th this week, and Tori Johnson's going to spotlight products that are all made in America. She brought along some of the bosses of these brands. Can you imagine having ownership of these fine products? Please welcome these owners that are here on Good Morning America. Congratulations to you all, Tori. We always enjoy this.
We do. This is one that we especially love. 40 years your family has been making all natural products that actually do what they promise.
Yes, this is our bug repellent No Bite Me. It's great for kids, it's safe for kids, it's made with pure essential oils and a beeswax blend. You just dot it on your skin, repels black flies, mosquitoes, and ticks.
Oh my goodness.
You got to show Robin that.
Amazing.
I want to see.
And then this is our milk and mint soap. It's an olive oil based soap with refreshing spearmint. It's great for dry skin, anybody that has eczema, psoriasis.
Smell how good this is. So give it a smell.
Oh my goodness.
That
it's
mint
a refreshing spearmint. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I love
that mint is so good. Brad stopped by and said to Sally, by the way, I use this and it works.
Yes.
So she was nice to have, you're happy to have Brad's validation.
It's the best,
and it's all slashed in half, starts at $5.
That's it?
Yeah.
This is coming to Key West with me.
Great, thank
For
you.
barbecue, the summer barbecue.
You'll love it.
Okay, the Feel Good Lab
Plant-based?
Yes. So the last time I had Feel Good Lab on GMA, we had a mega sellout. Peter, my husband, is obsessed. He swears by this.
The Feel Good Lab all started with my dad. He's a pharmacist. He's been specializing in treating chronic pain for over 30 years. And what he heard over and over was people just want an effective pain reliever, but without the side effects that come with taking pills every day. So it's formulated with plant-based ingredients like arnica, turmeric, magnesium, boswellia, and it's FDA registered to treat arthritis pain, back pain, and muscle and joint pain.
And it's approved by Peter, your husband.
It's approved by Peter. I mean, that kind of says it all. Because we get so many products in the mail, and I have all of my testers, and most of the times my testers aren't so impressed. This one, he was impressed, and you guys were too, because this was a big sellout. You asked me when it's coming back. Today's the day, and it's all 50% off. Ryan's taking care of us.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much.
All right, Robin, I spotted these candles at a trade show. I was walking by Jennifer's booth, and I smelled this one. I know it's like holiday. It's a peppermint mocha. It is so good. But it's for me a year-round favorite.
It is. It's our top holiday seller for sure. But at Unplug, we make soy candles and diffusers that truly smell as great as they look. We are all about pure ingredients, sophisticated scents, and vessels that you'll actually want to
Let
reuse.
Robin smell your favorite.
My personal favorite right now that I'm obsessed with is Hibiscus Rain.
Oh my goodness.
We have it available in our refill kits as well as the diffusers.
Oh my goodness.
And this is a big milestone moment because you started 10 years ago with $500 cash, and you are very, very successful now.
Thank you.
10 years later, multi-million-dollar, made in America small business.
Thank you.
It's really,
congratulations, and well deserved.
You guys are going to love these candles. They smell phenomenal. They burn beautifully, and they're all 50%
I love
off.
the diffuser as well.
Thank you.
So phenomenal.
Congratulations.
All right, I was going to say a Lara Spencer favorite, but also a GMA favorite from Rinse. You guys, you got the good stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. GMA viewers made the Bobby Bliss oil an instant bestseller when Lara said she loves the way it looks and feels on her legs and doesn't have to wear hosiery. So this one is fantastic for summer legs. And everything from our squalane facial oil to our aromatherapy shower bombs, handmade in small batches in Georgia, and will provide just an amazing pampering, skin-loving, senses-loving experience.
I feel like it's a sensorial experience because like it does good stuff for your skin, but then it also smells great, so it's really great for mind and body. Is what I like to think.
And it's easy to travel with as well.
So easy to travel with, easy on the wallet, because every option is half price, $3 to $15.
Oh, thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Susan, this is a big hit.
First time on television.
Oh my
first time
gosh.
on television. And you are bringing, this was voted one of the coolest products made in Mississippi.
I'm telling you, at my sister's store, I cannot keep it on the shelves. I have it all over my dressing room. It is so, so great. I'm happy that they're here.
Thank you. Little Birdie is all about name drop. We can put your name, your favorite place, your city, or your state on a pillow to personalize it just for you.
And you got your Key West, your Casper, and then it's not just the case. You get the whole pillow.
You get the whole pillow stuffed and sewn closed, and the whole pillow goes in the washing machine. These are all made.
These are great.
Right, all made in Mississippi.
Where are you from?
Calhoun City, Mississippi.
There you go.
1,300 person town.
1,300 person town.
And these are 50% off the whole pillow, personalized $19. And as you told me, you can't walk into a big box store and get that. And then finally, our last business owner was going to be here but couldn't be because she just had a baby. We've got little baby Christian there. This is Henne Organics. They make really phenomenal lip products. We've got everything from their balm to the exfoliator. This one, smell how good this berry exfoliator, the lip tints, the lip oils, all of their products. You guys love them. All slash and half starts at $9.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations to you all, and thank you for being so generous with our viewers. It means so much. Susan, so happy to finally see you. All of these companies, we've partnered with these companies on these deals. You can get them on our website, goodmorningamerica.com. Tori, we love you. We thank you. She's going to be back tomorrow. More deals made in America?
Got it.
All right.
The cast of 9 Perfect Strangers. Season 2 wraps this week. Chris Connolly sat down with some of the stars. He's in LA. Good morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning, George. Yeah, that second season has had it all. Major secrets revealed, massive trauma unearthed, and by now we know 2 big things. They sure ain't perfect, and they're no longer strangers. Part of what's made it all go is the engaging rapport among its cast members, including Mark Strong and a couple of Emmy winners for comedy, absolute legend Christine Baranski and absolutely hilarious Annie Murphy.
A hideaway in the Alps. It's a long way from the creek for Annie Murphy.
It's all about aging and dry skin.
Oh my God, ew, David!
It has been like the most intense acting that I've ever had to do in terms of just letting it rip.
As the second season of 9 Perfect Strangers prepares to drop its final episode Wednesday, the daughter-mother characters played by Murphy
Come and sit next to me.
and Mamma Mia's Christine Baranski remain on the emotional verge.
No, thank you.
Annie, how did you manage to bond with Christine as you prepared to play daughter and mother together?
Oh, I just showed up at her door every night with a bottle of wine, being like, spend time with me.
It's pretty easy to bond with Annie.
Please welcome to the Bloomberg Disruptors Conference, Masha Dmitrichenko.
Returning as the Type A wellness wizard, Nicole Kidman's Masha has been using psychedelics and mind-frying methods to propel her clients back in time.
And now I invite you all together to decide on the proper remedy.
To confront once again moments of trauma from their past.
I think Imogen experienced a large trauma when Imogen was a small girl. I think it's just infuriated her that she hasn't been able to fix this crucial problem in her life.
Yet she's been rom-commy with Henry Golding's heir.
Will I see you later?
Yeah.
And has furious back and forth with Murray Bartlett's disgraced kids' TV host and his toy bear.
What is that puppet that he has?
Jessie Bear.
Did you not lose a teddy bear in a house fire once upon a time?
I did. You've done a deep dive. Yeah, Worthington. I lost Worthington in a house fire. But he had a brother that was bought by one of my mom's best friends.
I'm glad it has a happy ending.
The finale's ending might not be so merry for Mark Strong's mogul, who may have had a hand in all these strangers' life-altering crises.
I think in the first series, people were unaware of the idea that they were being dosed and what was going on. And now, of course, everybody turns up knowing exactly what they're in for. So she's become famous, and I think he basically wants to find out what she's like. He's intrigued by her.
For Strong, a previous collab with Kidman on the 2014 thriller Before I Go to Sleep proved invaluable.
So why are we doing it?
We're building trust. It was nice that we had that history, because there was some intimate stuff required.
For Annie, going from Catherine O'Hara's Moira on the Creek to Christine Baranski's Victoria has been another opportunity to work with a mother superior.
I think as mothers, as fictional mothers, both of them are pretty dreadful in their own beautifully quirky ways.
We have so many disasters bombarding us right now, my dear. The middle name of an ungrateful child is hardly a priority.
As myself, I've had 2 incredible women to look up to and idolize and learn from. I have been extremely lucky to work with the women I've worked with.
The final episode of 9 Perfect Strangers Season 2 airs Wednesday on Hulu, guys.
Looks like fun. Thank you, Chris.
I like to call these Tell Your Friends segments. We're back with another really bad idea that is a TikTok trend, encouraging people to chase high UV rays to get a tan. It's just 15 or 20 minutes outside in the sun without sun protection can burn your skin and cause damage. Board-certified dermatologist Dr. Whitney Bowe, who we love, is here with us with Summer Skincare 101. And guys, I have a 3-inch scar under my right eye, which you do not want, from skin cancer, so don't do this. Why is this trend so horrifying?
There is a very concerning trend right now on social media deliberately encouraging people to go outside in the sun when the UV index is high in order to optimize their tanning time and get the biggest bang for their buck when it comes to tanning.
Right.
Now, as you know, the UV index is something that you can access wherever you're looking for your weather forecast. So whether you're watching TV, or if you're flipping through the newspaper, even if you open up your weather app on your phone and you scroll down,
you're right, it's there.
It'll show you the UV index.
Yeah.
It's a scale that measures the strength of ultraviolet radiation at a particular place in time. It ranges from 0 to 11 plus. Now, the higher the number, the greater the risk, not only of sunburn, but all forms of skin damage, right? Including accelerated aging and skin cancer.
Like, look, I got all the spots on my hands. You don't want any of that. Please, we're begging you. You can have a better life. Just don't do this. All right, so Dr. Bowe, walk us through the do's and don'ts of avoiding sunburns.
Okay, so first of all, things you want to pack in your beach bag.
Right.
First, a broad-rimmed hat or a visor.
I like
and wear
that.
sun protective fabrics. Look for UPF 50 plus in the label.
Okay.
Next, you want to pack your sun sunglasses.
Because your eyes are susceptible.
You can increase your risk for cataracts and eye cancer. So look for sunglasses that block UVA and UVB.
We didn't know that, but now we do.
And of course, you want to be reapplying that sunscreen throughout the day. But Sam, there's spots that everybody misses, and I see the worst burns, so you don't want to forget to apply it around the eyes, the hairline, in the part, backs of the ears, back of the neck, backs of the knees, tops of the feet. Just be careful.
All those spots, and double up under the sunglasses because they reflect as well, right? Okay, what else have we got?
All right, so if you're gonna get a sunburn, which we've all been there.
You're gonna get one,
We've all been there. What do you want to do? So first, you want to take a cold compress. So put a washcloth in a bowl of ice water and then drape it on the burn. Don't put the ice directly on the skin. That can damage the burn.
Right, but that'll help. The cold water will actually help the sunburn?
It really helps with the pain, the inflammation, and so does taking ibuprofen or Motrin or Aleve or Advil. Those all have anti-inflammatory properties.
How smart is that?
Tylenol is not going to cut it, guys.
Ibuprofen.
Last, you got to repair that damage.
Okay.
You got to put on a moisturizer. So aloe, oatmeal, Cica, Centella Asiatica, but you don't want to use fragrance, essential oils, and I'm not a fan of those after sun products with benzocaine. It can increase the risk for irritation and allergy.
You're so good. I ask you all these questions off camera. You always have the answer.
We're texting buddies.
So aloe vera does work. You don't have to put it on right away. Can I use it in the afternoon when I get home and it helps? Or?
Absolutely. Within 24 hours, you want to use something really lightweight. After 24 hours, you can actually use something like Vaseline. That helps with the peeling.
Another little tip coming up. Thank you, by the way, Dr. Bo. We love having you. To give your charcuterie board a little summer twist, and I promise you they're delicious, Joanna Saltz is here to show us how to do it next.
Hey, we're back now. We've been salivating over this for really the whole show at this point. It's a summer twist on your traditional charcuterie board. Social media is full of all those so-called summer boards, and we've decided we had to call in the editorial director of Delish. This is Joanna Saltz, and she is going to show us how to make those summer boards just in time for this holiday weekend. Joanna, thank you for being here with us. This all looks fantastic, and we're going to kind of dive in and get our hands dirty, I guess. That's what the napkins are for.
Dirty.
Yeah.
Get ready.
So what are the
fun.
basics? What does every board need?
Okay, so I mean, the thing about boards is, like, there are no rules. I mean, there are technically rules in that you're supposed to have cheese, fruit, and meat, but certainly these are all adaptable and amenable if you have vegetarians in your family or if you have allergies.
Right.
So it's really just about getting creative, having fun, doing something a little different. And what I love about these kind of grazing boards is that it keeps you, well, right, because we're all picky.
Yeah, this
right?
is where you just pick at.
And so you're not stuck in the kitchen making a million apps. You're not stuck not having fun with your friends. You can put this out and everybody can sort of dabble.
It's great for the host or hostess.
So fun. And these have become super big on social media because what they look like is abundance. At Delish, we like to say abundanza. We love to say like everything needs to be full and beautiful.
You can say it, Will.
Yes, abundanza.
This one's got burrata, it's got melon.
Yes.
What's in that?
So this one's our melon burrata and has prosciutto. And what I love about this one in particular is some of these feel like you need to have an art degree to make it, but this one is nice and linear.
Straight lines.
Yes, so let's try to pull it. Will you guys help me out here a little bit?
Go ahead, Will,
so I'm going to start with the messy burrata. And you want to line things up. All right, you got it.
We're going this way.
We're going to go down this way.
Understood.
And what's nice, I mean, Sam, you got to get in here.
No, Sam's
I'll have one on this side. I'm afraid to kind of like get across.
What's going to go on this side of the burrata?
So we're going to do, why don't you do a little bit of prosciutto on this side, and I'm going to do some cherries. And this one is really...
Do you roll it or just, I mean, do you roll it? I see people making it into
like
flowers.
a flower.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do
Guys,
with it?
there's no preciousness here. At Delish, we don't believe in precious. We say you don't have to know how to cook, you just have to love to eat. So that's our whole jam.
Look how pretty that is,
but look how simple, right? And so once you get these lines in order, what's so nice about this is then you take a little bit of fresh mint, and suddenly this becomes like...
I love that you just put these, what are these, heirloom tomatoes?
Heirloom tomatoes.
Because they're so pretty.
Right, but also look at how fresh. I mean, the summer is made for beauty. Will, you're like a professional.
Thank you. Well, my
here.
wonderful fiance makes a great board, and I try to help when I can.
Very impressed.
Why don't you make Sam get to work on the next board? I'll finish this
There's
up
one
over
with
here.
berries, fresh berries, and this
so
one.
What I love
this looks like it took an art school.
Well, no. Okay, so don't get stressed out by this. This one I like to call our charcuterie. Get it?
Oh,
we love a pun
I do.
too.
Because the star cookies?
Star cookies. We use some star cookie cutters.
Okay.
And these will be, star cookie cutter is your best friend at 4th of July. So we cut out some cookies here. This is a sweeter one. So we use some berries
berries. You can't have a summer fruit board without some delicious summer berries. But then we have some pound cake, we have some croissants, and we have some fresh ricotta. And so this is really the kind of thing that you can leave out the whole time.
May I?
Please. I mean,
Okay.
there's
then,
no rules.
Can we move on to the red, white, and blue? Because
Yes.
we're coming up on the holiday, and I want to get that.
Red,
I'm going to
white,
leave
and
the
blue
prosciutto
board.
behind
You're
us,
working
but-
really hard over there, Will. Okay, listen, what I love about this one is lots of heights. So you want to start with things that are a little bit taller, right? And so we've got our olives, we've got our little mozzarella, and then we've got some salami. Guys, I'm not an art major here,
No,
so
you're
I'm
great.
just
You're
going to
gonna-
tell you, I'm going to start just piling stuff.
Pile it all,
You
because
can't-
we're
But it
going to
looks
run
good
to a
if
break.
it's crowded, so it doesn't really matter,
Let me
right?
take a fistful of cheese here
Get
as we head out.
Some parm,
Joanna,
some
Joanna,
cheddar.
thank you so much for being here.
Let's do it, guys.
And you can get all these recipes for all of these amazing boards on goodmorningamerica.com. And the special United Eats of America edition of Delish is on Apple News now. We're going to keep doing this.
Robin's got a mouthful, but it's delicious, I know. Have a great
On me.
day.
See you later.